Good evening, friend. This is a place for warmth and rest. Allow the room to be dim and kind, the air calm, the sheets smooth beneath your hands. Breathe in slowly, as if you're sipping something warm. Breathe out even slower, as if blowing on a candle that never quite goes out. You're welcome to drift in and out of my words. Everything moves gently here. You can let go. You're safe, you're cared for, and all is well. Begin by letting the forehead soften, any tiny lines easing out on their own. Eyelids grow heavy and kind. The jaw loosens, the tongue resting in quiet ease. The neck and collarbones relax, as though familiar tension is setting itself down. Shoulders release and widen, drifting away from the ears. Calm moves through the arms, down to the hands, each finger settling without effort. The back softens, the chest expands with an easy breath. And another, unhurried. Hips grow spacious, legs lengthen into stillness, calves soft, ankles loose, heels anchored, toes warm and uncurled. From head to toe, the whole body is supported, invited to be exactly as it is. Let everything rest. Let everything stay. The night outside, your imagination begins to settle. A gentle, restful night, cool enough to feel crisp at the edges, soft enough to feel like a quiet hush layered over the world. Picture yourself listening to a storyteller, perhaps someone you've known for years, perhaps someone whose voice feels like woven dusk, steady, soothing, slow. Together you drift along a quiet footpath, not walking, just arriving, the way one arrives in a dream without needing to travel. Overhead, the sky stretches wide and velvety, a deep midnight blue that holds the stars like scattered lanterns. No rush, no destination, only the gentle drift into a place where stories breathe like evening air. A meadow unfolds, soft grasses bending as if bowing to the night, each blade silvered by starlight. A low hill rises at the center, a comfortable slope, just right for resting, just right for telling slow, dreamy tales. The storyteller settles near you, no movement needed from you, just the simple sense of presence, as if someone kind has taken a seat at the edge of your awareness. A breeze moves through the grass, slow and quiet, carrying hints of earth, of cool leaves, of night flowers opening by instinct. This is where the story begins, a restful night under the stars, and a storyteller whose words drift like constellations. The storyteller's voice begins in a hush, barely more than a murmur folding itself into the night. Stories come easier under open skies, they say, their tone soft, unhurried, as though each word is chosen the way one selects smooth stones beside a river, slowly, lovingly, with no need to reach the end. And the stars above seem to listen. They glimmer, patient and steady, as though they, too, enjoy a gentle tale told simply for the pleasure of its telling. You rest in the meadow's quiet cradle, feeling the soft weight of night around you, light as a shawl, warm as shared breath. The grasses whisper faintly, barely brushing one another, a sound like a lullaby stretched thin and tender. The storyteller leans back slightly, hands resting loosely, their gaze lifting to the sky as if greeting familiar friends. Some nights, they murmur, the sky feels closer, almost as though the stars lean in to hear us more clearly. And indeed, the stars tonight feel near, hovering low, bright but gentle, shimmering with a quiet affection for the world below. The storyteller begins weaving images, slow, dreamy shapes that drift through your awareness like lanterns floating on still water. They speak of a constellation shaped like a wandering harp, its strings forming threads of silver across the dark sky. Not a real constellation, perhaps, but one borrowed from imagination, the kind of creation that belongs wholly to nights like this. The harp, the storyteller says, plays only when the world is quiet, only when hearts are resting, only when night is soft enough to carry its music without letting it fall. And even though no sound rises, you can almost sense it, a gentle vibration in the air, a hush that feels like melody only just beyond hearing. The storyteller smiles softly, as if listening inwardly. It plays lullabies for those who simply need to rest, not songs you must follow, just gentle threads of sound that hold the night in place. The meadow accepts these words, absorbing them like dew. The air grows even stiller, even softer. You can almost imagine the harp's starlit strings glowing faintly, one after another, slow pulses of light sliding outward like a sigh. The storyteller continues, voice warm and barely above a whisper. There is another constellation, they say, just to the left of the harp, a lantern that never dims. It moves very slowly across the seasons, not because it must, but because it chooses to linger wherever someone might need a little glow. And as they speak, your eyes, or perhaps only your mind, find a small cluster of stars gathered close together, soft and golden, like a welcoming light at the entrance to a quiet home. That lantern, the storyteller adds, was first imagined by travelers who wanted a companion in the sky, something steady, something familiar, something that felt like a friend who never hurries and never leaves. The story unfolds slowly, stretching out like a blanket across the night. There is no plot, no destination, just drifting images, soft, restful, gentle as falling starlight. The storyteller reaches a hand toward the sky, not to point, but simply to feel the coolness of the night. The lantern, they murmur, shines brightest for those who listen to stories. It seems to enjoy shared quiet, shared wonder, shared breath. A long pause follows, the kind that feels full, rich, peaceful. The breeze moves again, carrying the faint scent of night blossoms, floral but subtle, like petals that open only under moonlight. The storyteller shifts slightly, a soft rustling of fabric, and begins another tale, one slower still. Long ago, they say, there was a star that loved to wander, not quickly, no hurry in it at all, just a gentle drifting, the way a leaf might turn on a still pond. The star, they explain, would move from one constellation to another, quietly threading itself through imagined patterns. Some nights it rested near the harp, letting its light hum along those silver strings. Some nights it nestled near the lantern, swelling that warm glow by just a touch. But its favorite place, the storyteller confides, was the open sky, the unshaped spaces between constellations where imagination has room to stretch. It liked the in-between, they say softly, because that's where new stories begin. In the quiet spaces, the gentle pauses, the breath before the next thought. And as those words settle, you begin to notice how much space exists between the stars tonight. Roomy, peaceful stretches of darkness that feel not empty, but comforting, like soft velvet, like the inside of a lullaby. The storyteller continues weaving slow, looping images of the wandering star resting on the rim of a crescent moon, of the lantern constellation casting pathways of faint gold over drifting clouds, of the harp sending its soft glow across the meadow, like a hand smoothing a blanket. Around you the night deepens, not darker, just more serene. The grasses lean in slightly, their tips nodding as if listening. The storyteller's voice grows even softer now, like a warm breeze brushing across your mind. Every night has its own story, they murmur, and on nights like this, restful nights under the stars, the story doesn't need to lead anywhere. It can simply drift, like a small boat on a gentle current, like a dream finding its way without trying. The image floats before you, a tiny wooden boat resting on a still lake, moonlight turning the surface to pale silver. No ripples, no movement, just the sense that time has slowed almost to a stop. The storyteller breathes slowly, evenly, and somehow you feel your own breath mirroring that rhythm. Soft inhale, long, quiet exhale, the night breathing with you. There is a hill, they say after a long pause, far beyond this meadow, a hill where the stars seem especially close. Some say you can hear them there, a faint shimmer, a gentle tone, as if light itself makes a sound when the world is peaceful enough. They describe the hill in soft, sweeping strokes, rounded, smooth, covered in low wildflowers that release a sweet, calming fragrance only after dusk. The air on that hill, they say, feels like cool silk on the skin. The sky rests just above it, as if leaning down to greet whoever arrives. And if you listen, the storyteller whispers, you might hear stories carried on starlight, not spoken stories, but feelings, warmth, comfort, a sense of being known and gently held. They fall quiet again, letting the night speak for them. The faint rustle of meadow grass, the soft brush of breeze, the subtle hum of stillness. When I sit under the stars, they continue, the stories come like fireflies, slow little glimmers, each one a small moment, a cup of tea cooling on a porch, a cat settling into a patch of moonlight, a lantern flickering in a window. Simple things, comforting things. Their voice drifts, each word like a soft footstep down a long hallway of night. You don't need to hold the stories, they say. They can pass by gently, float through the air, rest for a moment, then drift on. And as they speak, you feel that drifting, thoughts unspooling, loosening, softening at the edges. The stars above seem to blur slightly, not from fading, but from relaxing into the sky. The storyteller lies back, hands folded loosely over their chest. They breathe deeply, slowly, and their voice becomes a whisper woven directly into the night. Sometimes, they say, rest finds us more easily when we pretend the sky is telling us a bedtime story. And so you imagine it, the sky itself speaking in gentle pulses of light, every star a tiny storyteller, every shimmer a soft syllable. The meadow feels warmer, as though the earth beneath you has stored sunlight from earlier in the day, and now releases it in slow, steady breaths. A feeling of timelessness unfolds, the sense that the night is holding you, not just surrounding you, but embracing you in its wide, calm arms. The storyteller's voice dims further, slowing, stretching, laying each word down like a smooth stone in a quiet pattern. All the stories tonight, they murmur, are simply about rest. Rest in the open sky, rest in the gentle dark, rest in the easy rhythm of breath and breath and breath. Another long pause, the breeze moves again, a soft hush like someone smoothing the edge of a blanket. The stars, they say finally, are in no hurry, and neither are we. We are simply here, existing in the stillness, wrapped in the softness, resting under the sky that has watched over countless nights just like this one. Their voice trails into silence, not abrupt, just gently fading, like a candle easing into embers. The meadow grows quieter still, the sky leans closer, the night deepens its embrace. Your breath slows, your mind softens, your awareness drifts like that tiny boat on the silver lake, unsteered, unhurried, completely at ease, and the restful night under the stars continues to hold you. Now the story grows hushed, like snow settling in the dark. The room is a soft cocoon. Your breath is the quiet rhythm of night. Thoughts, if they appear, can drift to the edges and become gentle blur. You're safe, warm, and deeply at ease. With every exhale, the edges soften more. You can imagine yourself floating on a calm lake at dusk, the sky a velvet blue, a single star beginning to glow. Words thin out, turning to comfortable silence. You can follow the feeling of rest the way one follows a familiar path home, without hurry, without effort. All is well, all is well, all is well.